They have surcharge and taxes. Good, thanks. How are you?
I'll go ahead and get it started and nominate for the nomination and the second and vote. So,
Okay.
yeah, I think
Be a regular.
I'll vote for the esteemed to my left here. What do you think about that? Mr. Sir, would you be open to?
Jimmy, you want to serve as the chairman tonight?
Not really, but this is one time I've ever been chair.
All right, it's 7 o'clock, so unfortunately, our chairman and our vice chairman couldn't be here tonight, so I'm going to go ahead and open the meeting. So we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. If you all will stand. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, and at this point, it would be appropriate for the planning board, the members that are sitting, to nominate someone to act as chairman for this particular meeting. It's not something that would carry on past this meeting, but just for the sake of tonight. So go ahead and open the floor for any nominations.
I'd like to nominate the gentleman to my left here,
All right,
based on his experience on the board. So,
okay. So we have a nomination. Do we have a second?
okay. I don't know how he feels about it.
I'll
too.
second.
Second?
Mr.
All right.
Southern,
All
yes.
right, to Mr. Southern. All right, so we've got a second for Mr. Stevenson. So all in favor?
Aye.
All right, all opposed? All right. Let's see.
I didn't put you on the spot.
I'll remember this. All right, let's bring the meeting to order. Since we done the allegiance, the next step on it is to adopt the agenda.
That's right.
I'll make a motion to adopt the agenda.
A second.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Review, wait a minute. The next one is to adopt the minutes for the April 27th, 2023 meeting.
Well, I'll move that we adopt the minutes as written for April 2023.
I'll second.
Okay, got a second? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Next thing on the agenda is public hearings for rezoning case 23-07-PLBD-00054, and it's at 8701 Hall River Road.
No.
8107.
Hit what?
8107.
Oh, yeah, 8107. Sorry about that. Any discussions from the board on it? Or any questions for anyone?
I think at this point, we generally have a report from the county planner on this.
Yeah, we'll open it up to the floor. All right, let's open it up to the floor. Anyone want to speak for?
I think before we do that, Mr. Chair, I need to give a staff report to the public, and then they'll have a chance to weigh in both for and against.
Yeah, county
Okay, so
So I'll go ahead and read the staff report if you will.
you want me to read the staff report?
He's gonna do it.
I'll
Oh,
read it.
you're gonna read it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you're right. Been a while since I've been here.
I mean, you're welcome to read it, but I'll read it, that's okay. So, this is a rezoning case, 2307 PLBD 00054, 8107 Haw River Road. The request is to amend the existing conditional highway business zoning. And this site is located on the south side of Haw River Road, about 330 feet west of the intersection with NC 68 North, Guilford County Tax Parcel 163617. This is going to be a recommendation that will be made to the Stokesdale Town Council, which will eventually have final authority to approve or deny the request. So all of the original conditions that were part of the original approval of this site will remain in place. Those are in the record in your staff report, numbers 1 through 7. There are some amendments to the use conditions, however, which I have highlighted, that will be to add automobile repair services and tire sales, in addition to all of the other uses that are permitted as part of this application. If you look under your original use conditions, the items listed are currently not permitted as uses on the site. So we would be removing automobile repair services and removing tire sales from the list of prohibited uses, thus allowing them. General character of this area, it is a retail development. It's at a major transportation node. It's surrounded by retail to both the south and the east. There is single-family residential and agricultural nearby on the north and the west. The parcel is vacant. It's an out parcel as part of a larger shopping center. There are no historic landmarks on or adjacent to the property and no cemeteries on or adjacent to the property. It would be serviced by Stokesdale Fire, which is approximately 3.7 miles away. The site would be served by private septic and Stokesdale water systems. And as far as existing conditions, North Carolina 68 is a major thoroughfare, as is Haw River Road. DOT has noted that a commercial driveway permit would be required at a minimum, in addition to possible other improvements if this site is developed based on the traffic generation. The last established traffic count on NC 68 was 11,000 annual daily trips, and that was in 2021. Topography of the site, generally sloping, also moderately sloping. There are no floodplains, no mapped wetlands on this property, and no mapped streams, and it's not in a designated water supply watershed. Stokesdale Land Use Plan designates this as non-residential zoning outside of the town core and professional manufacturing corridor. And thus, if this amendment is approved, it will not require a plan amendment. And staff is recommending approval because the proposed rezoning action would be consistent with the recommendation of the future land use plan, and it would be reasonable in the public interest because it's part of a larger commercial development and the additional uses would not conflict with the scenic corridor requirements that are in the development ordinance. Thank you.
Any discussion from the board? Any questions from the board?
I have one, I didn't see anywhere what the zoning is on the rest of the shopping center. Is this?
It has the same zoning. It's all
That's-
conditional zoning, highway business, same uses, same
so-
zoning conditions.
So it'll move to what everything else is.
So only this out parcel will be different with those two additional uses. The rest of the zoning will remain in place from what it was
Okay.
originally zoned.
Okay.
So we're just approving the two amendments to
You're
the,
considering the two added uses
Yeah.
to what would be allowed.
which is the tire and auto repair.
Yes, sir.
Have no discussion from the board. I'll open it up to the floor. If anyone wants to speak for. You can speak loud enough, you don't have to worry about it.
Keep the batteries in. How you doing? Good. There you go.
Bill Greco with Land Solutions. My address is P.O. Box 347 in Oak Ridge. Here this evening, speaking in favor of this application. I'd like to thank all of our staff for their assistance in putting this package together. and the board for having this hearing tonight. I do believe all the high points have been covered. This is an out parcel at the shopping center. Our request for these additional uses is limited to this out parcel. Obviously, we have somebody interested in establishing something there. Some of this is semantics, as much as we would like to think planners and designers are the only ones that read the ordinance. Bankers, lawyers, insurance folks, they all read it too. So that's why we have the multiple uses. A lot of those types of facilities do have, you can get your tires, you can get your battery, you can get your oil change. So we're just covering our bases with the uses. We agree with the staff report. It's in harmony with the land use plan, comp plan, so we would appreciate your vote in favor. And if there are any questions this evening, I'll be happy to address those.
Thank you, Bill. Anyone else for? Do we have anyone to oppose? Step up to the mic, your name and address.
Eileen Theory, Thiery, 8101 Meadow Springs Place in Stokesdale. It's not so much that I'm against the structure that he's talking about, but in my mind, I think that we have enough automotive stuff going along on 68 already, and it doesn't seem to be appropriate for the shopping center and the nice dentist office that was built there. So how many more auto stores does this little town need? We have the two. We also have a lot of used cars. So I just think it's inappropriate. I'm not against the gentleman. I mean, all power to him, but I wish he'd find something else to put there. So just think about how we're going to be inundated with auto parts stores. That's all, and auto tires. Thank you for letting me speak.
And if I may, there's been no use established for this site. This is simply a rezoning to increase the uses that would be allowed.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean auto will
Yeah.
go on this site. It means it could. So I just want to make that distinction.
Yeah.
I'm back again. If you're trying to change the zoning, doesn't that give you a hint what might go there?
I'm staff, so.
I mean, if you're talking about changing something on the zoning, allowing what was specified, it gives me a hint that that's what's going to go there. Nobody said more pizza places or restaurants, so if you're looking to allow those two items to come there, what do you think's going there? It's not going to be a nursing home.
Do we have anyone else opposed? If not, I'll close that session. And the board will take a suggestion. And this is just for the two amendments to it, and it is just passed on to the town council. Anyone want to make a motion?
I'll move that we approve this rezoning and send it on to the town council for their approval because I think it will improve the area, and also it is in line with the future plan use of the town of Stokesdale. Did I cover it all?
Yeah, I think you, if you're making a consistency finding, I think you adequately stated that it's consistent with the long-range plan for Stokesdale.
All right,
Yeah.
do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay, got a second? And I can't see the name, so I can't, I know Mr. Green and T, and you're
Curtis.
Curtis? Yep. Okay, well, we'll take a vote. Mr. Green?
Aye.
T?
Aye.
Mr. Curtis?
I'll vote aye.
Okay, and I'll also vote aye.
Motion carried.
The next one on our agenda is a rezoning case 23-07 PLBD -00055, and it's at 8200 Stokesdale Street and 8320 Lawrence Street.
Loyal.
You
Yes, sir. So, as you mentioned, this is a rezoning request for 8200 Stokesdale Street and 8300 Loyola Street. The request is to go from limited office and single-family residential to conditional zoned general business. This parcel is located on the east side of Stokesdale Street, the intersection with US 158. It's Guilford County tax parcels 162231 and 162232. The request is to rezone both subject properties, which contain a total of 0.87 acres, to conditional zone general business. And once again, this will be a recommendation to the Stokesdale Town Council, which will have final authority to approve or deny the request. So the general business district is primarily intended to accommodate a wide range of retail, service, and office uses. The district is typically located along thoroughfares in areas which have developed with minimal front setbacks. This parcel is in a primarily commercial area with a variety of commercial, retail, and office uses, and it is bordered to the west across the street by some single-family residential. There are no historic properties on the site, no cemeteries on the site. Would be served by Stokesdale Fire, which is 0.08 of a mile away. It would be on private septic system, Stokesdale Water. Existing traffic, Loyola Drive is a non-NCDOT residential street. Stokesdale Street is a residential DOT street. And then US 158, of course, is a major thoroughfare. An NCDOT driveway permit would be required upon any development of this site for commercial. And there may be other requirements that would result when the actual use and size are established. The topography is gently sloping. There's no floodplain, no wetlands. And these are located in the Reedsville watershed water supply level 3. But there are no mapped streams on the subject properties. Stokesdale Land Use Plan designates this area as town core. And the plan recognizes the town core as a center of commerce and social activity that will continue to serve the demands of Stokesdale's growing population while maintaining its historical small-town appeal. The plan accommodates this through a mixture of commercial, business, institutional, and residential uses accompanied by public open spaces. It is important to have space for businesses within Stokesdale and also to limit the sprawl of such businesses. Consistent with the plan, this requested action would be consistent with the recommendation of the Stokesdale Future Land Use Plan. Thus, if approved, it would not require a plan amendment. The proposed rezoning would be consistent in staff's opinion with the recommendation of the Future Land Use Plan and is reasonable in the public interest because it is surrounded by general business zoning and it would provide additional commercial opportunities concentrated in the town core. Staff is recommending approval.
Okay,
And the use conditions are in your packet.
okay. Anyone on the board have any questions?
It bothers me a little bit. I'm for all of this, but to see the two of the uses that are listed here is massage parlor and adult theater. This is awful close to a church.
Those are excluded, so
Those are
it says shall not be permitted, so nothing on that list is gonna be
Oh,
permitted.
okay, I'm sorry.
That's a very valid concern, though.
Amen to that. Kelly, you're here.
Any more questions from the board?
Yeah, just a question about the map. The yellow outlined area looks like it's segmented. Is that entire outer perimeter part of the parcel, or what's the dividing line there going east to west?
So the top yellow trapezoid is the portion that's zoned currently limited office.
Okay,
And the bottom square is the part that's zoned RS30, just a small part.
okay.
But they'll eventually be combined upon any development of the property.
Okay.
Can you pull up the zoning map? Probably think that one's useful. It's not really the right one. Keep going down. There should be like a colored map with like red and yellow. There it is. Yeah, that's the one. So you'll notice here, all the red is basically commercial and office uses. You've got that little island of residential that's surrounded on all sides by commercial and office uses currently. And then even to the west, there's actually general business as well. But there is some residential mobile home zoning up to the northwest there and also off to the southwest of the site across Stokesdale / Schilling Street. So that just kind of gives you a better idea. And across the highway is all general business.
Right. Okay.
Bad do. Anyone else on the board got a question? Okay, so we'll open it up for the floor. Anyone for?
Bill Greco with Land Solutions, P.O. Box 347, Oak Ridge. Here this evening, speaking on behalf of this application. I don't think I have a whole lot to add to this one as well. Thanks again to staff. It's currently, for the most part, an LO zone site, so it's already commercial. Going with the general businesses in concert with everything that's surrounding it. As mentioned on the uses, and also important to point out, it's a pretty small site. It's less than an acre. So the uses that you see listed have all been excluded. That cannot be. And then the other thing that we've done here on this site is the owner has offered development conditions, and those speak primarily to adherence with the scenic corridor guidelines. Nothing will be open 24 hours a day, and some lighting considerations. I felt those were important, given that there is at that island of residential, and has been mentioned, there's a church adjacent. So we think with what we have put together here, we've got a very reasonable request that aligns with all of our guiding documents. We would appreciate your support with this request. If there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer those.
Going back to this list that I made a mistake a while ago, is the reason that a lot of these things are excluded, is that because of the scenic corridor? Like, you know, they're just like the daycare center, automobile renting, stuff like that? Is there a reason for excluding all these things?
The methodology that I use to exclude uses is fairly simple. We start with low-hanging fruit, one of which has already been mentioned, massage parlor. That's unlikely to get a lot of support with many zonings, so that's low-hanging fruit. Then we look at things like size. A good example here would be swim and tennis club, athletic fields. Those are vastly too large to fit on this site. There's no way that's going to be done, so let's take those out. Then we look at developability of the site itself, excuse me, a daycare center, most folks don't know, for each child, you're required to have X amount of square footage inside the building and X amount of square footage outside the building. So this site, again, being less than an acre, it's just not suitable for a viable daycare
Oh, okay.
operation
Okay.
on the street. But that's how we kind of parse through the list of uses to get rid of things that we certainly feel are inappropriate for whatever reason.
So you didn't just go through and arbitrarily pick out some things?
No, sir.
You put some thought into it? Okay, that's.
Yes,
that's
sir.
Anyone else? Thank you, Bill. Anyone opposed?
I'd like to speak, if I may. My name's Dave Nearly, and I'm a property owner on Stokesdale Street, and I'm not opposed. I meant to speak as for, but what I would like to understand, I tried to do research on this and I don't understand it. I did look at the maps, and I'm okay with the rezoning, it makes sense, but it's in a watershed area. And in my research, I came up with a lot of different answers. It wasn't clear to me. So my question is, can anybody in the planning group here tell me what the building allotment or allowance is on this property, given, and the worst case I saw was watershed area, you can't cover the ground any more than 15% with whether it's gravel or a building. And I asked that only for the betterment, the beautification of the town. I'm part of the town now, and I want it to be right. I don't want to see it all covered up and there's some kind of an issue that develops down the road. Because it's somebody smarter than me declared it a watershed area. Any?
Do we have
Yeah.
someone that can speak to that?
Oh, sure, please.
Bill Greco, Land Solutions. We're going to have two options for development in this watershed. One is low density, which would be 24%. If we go with low density, we do not have to build any type of stormwater device. High density, I think, is 74%. I'm not sure. It's nothing is 100%. But with high density, and that density relates to built upon area, how much impervious surface you add. If we choose to go with high density, then we will be required to install some type of stormwater management device, be that a pond, a sand filter, a extended detention wetland, something of that nature.
And if I could just interject, how is that location's position within the watershed different from any of the other parcels adjacent on either side of the street that are already zoned as general business? Or is there some kind of,
It's not.
it's, okay,
Yeah, there's,
area is all watershed.
yeah, the line
Right.
goes right
Right.
down.
Right across the street, so I'm thinking like, they cover it all up, is the water gonna be ruining my land?
right, and that was the question behind my question, so yeah,
The
appreciate it.
line goes down 158, I'm pretty sure. Most of your watershed boundaries follow, but, yeah.
Anyone else opposed?
No question. Please, I'm not opposed, I'm just bringing the point forward. I tried to speak when we were still on the floor side, so I'm not against you at all. I'm just
Okay,
making a
okay.
point.
I'm Ed McKinney. I live at 8504 Spring Birch Terrace, right next to Miss Eileen. And I'm also the pastor of Stokesdale United Methodist Church. I don't have the list of what's possible. If I could hear it, that would be great.
Of what is permissible, not.
What is, yeah, I don't care what's not permissible, but what is permissible, that would be great. Okay. Oh,
It's gonna be a lot.
it's gonna be a lot, okay.
Yeah, it's gonna take me about 10 minutes just to list them, but.
Oh, shoot. Can I see a copy?
So, yeah, it's actually, so Stokesdale's development ordinance online.
Right.
We might be able to even pull it up.
Yeah.
That would be, yeah,
that's-
I do not want to be a pain.
No, I think it's a valid concern to know what would be permissible.
Right.
Maybe we can just give you a general idea of some of the, it's Article 4, Robbie, and then it's 4-3 permitted uses.
And I guess it's table 4-3-1.
Yeah, just scroll down. There you go. So, GB. So the part of the problem here also is that we're gonna have to memorize which column it is because it doesn't scroll.
Doesn't keep it with,
Uh,
Don't move the
So
cursor
that's-
from side to side.
don't move the cursor.
Yeah, get it right under.
Oh, see, Bill knows how to do it.
Like that.
All right.
Okay,
So I can't even read this.
go down.
Look at this one.
No, it's fine.
we're going
I
down
can
to
see it on this
additional.
one.
Which letter?
So we're under GB, so right here, anything that's got a P by it would be, or a D, actually, P or D.
So that's like,
Ed, would a list help you? This is, shall not be permitted.
Okay. That would be.
So public park. So far, that's about all I've come across here. We're gonna have to get down, let's get to the retail uses, because those are the ones people actually care about.
Gotcha.
Oh, you're in them.
There we go.
Okay.
All right, so start right there. So accounting offices, management, administrative services would be allowed, advertising agency, keep going down, Robbie.
Gotcha.
Outdoor advertising, automobile rentals.
So that's just,
Oh, no, I'm sorry, that one's out. Advertising's out also. Sorry, Bill jumped around on me here. Keep going down.
is it,
Bank would be allowed.
which column?
So GB with the
Okay,
little
okay,
star.
okay.
Anything that says P or D
Okay, all
that's
right,
not on this list would
Okay.
be allowed, basically.
okay.
can you highlight it, go all the way down? I wonder if that's possible.
Is a,
So bank would be
okay,
allowed,
brass tacks, is a hardware store permissible?
should be, it'd be under general retail
Okay.
services. So
Okay, that's fine,
I don't see it excluded here.
all right.
Let's see, we can do a search for it.
I mean, that's one of the rumors that's
And,
going around.
and
so-
if it becomes any sort of, any use that's allowed,
Mm-hmm.
it's not on here, that has any outdoor storage, the corridor overlay requirements require those areas to be screened from public view,
Okay,
in order to be allowed for outdoor storage.
okay,
So there's also control over the building materials. Corridor overlay controls building materials as well.
okay,
Lighting, there are buffers required between different land use codes depending on what ultimately goes there. Let me think what else. Those are the big ones.
all right.
Yeah, so hardware store.
When,
Yeah. Let's see, line 5251, it does permit that.
okay.
I do.
When will it be known what's going to go in there?
So non-tel site plan submittal. Once site plan's submitted, it's public records official what will go in there.
Okay, thank you. Inquiring minds want to know. All right.
Thank you. Hey, anyone else?
Mark Nadell, 8211 Wendy Gale Drive, Stokesdale. I'll save Mr. Greco from saying this because I know he's going to say it, and as a former member of the planning board, I guess the people need to know here, and I'm sure you guys know, that this hearing is really designed to determine the classification change, rezoning. The input of what's going to be there, you guys have no input on. Am I correct, Mr. Greco, at this point? In other words, this is all about the rezoning and not what we're going to build later. Now, I realize that can make some enemies out of us making that statement, but that's the process, if I'm correct. You're looking to rezone it. The discussion of what's going to be there is going to happen when the next stage falls through. That's my comment.
Just to clarify, so conditional zoning in this case it eliminates uses, but thus creates what the remaining uses will be. So you will have control over uses, just you won't know what the final use is until a site plan is actually submitted for the site that is compliant with whatever is rezoned.
Thank you.
Or maybe another way of putting that is are the permitted uses, are you okay with permitted uses being allowed on this property? Is this good property for all the permitted uses that are being included?
Anyone else?
Robbie, by now you know.
Yes.
Okay. As a member of the Friends of Stokesdale and also the treasurer, I'm just going to suggest something. And it's not a beauty parlor, okay? Do you think when the final decision is made, I don't really care right now what's going to be there, that you could conform a little bit to the antiquity of the stores across the way so that you don't stand out like a sore thumb? Because what the Friends of Stokesdale is trying to do is keep the integrity of the town core. And we're trying to keep it uniform so that we just don't look like, pardon me for saying it, like New York. I come from there so I could say it, okay? So, I mean, even if it's just the facade, we don't care what you do on the inside, but if the facade could have some kind of brickwork or something to look like that, it would be nice. Thank you for listening to me again.
Declare this a rebuttal, but I would like it on the record that our additional conditions that we applied speak to her concern. All applicable scenic corridor guidelines will be followed. Any site plan submittals that include new building construction shall include front, back, and side elevations. So ultimately, when somebody moves forward with development, it's not always that you get to see the elevations for the building and have any input. And I'm generally not hard to find. I'm not familiar with the Friends of Stokesdale so much, but reach out. We're happy to have those discussions if there's a group that's trying to preserve the integrity. Certainly with this application, we're trying to enhance, preserve, improve for the citizens of Stokesdale. Thank you.
I'd like to invite you to our next meeting, and then maybe if you can stand or not private. I'll give you my business card. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else?
Hello, I'm Suzette Shelton. I live at 9037 Ellisboro Road, Stokesdale. I just had a question, and I don't know if this is the right place to say it or not, but on here it says Lalola Street. Is it Lalola Street or Lalola Drive? I think it's Drive. And my other question is, I'm a member of Stokesdale United Methodist Church, and that drive is closed now? Is that correct? But yet we still have a sign at the end of our church that I know that a girl has to go get on a bus there because the county won't allow her to get on the bus in front of her house. And I don't know how it affects the church as far as we use that address too, but the street is closed. Does anyone know? Okay, I just know the county, the sign has never been removed. I don't know if it needs to be removed. We've got a couple of them on the property. And this person, the girl has to walk a distance from her home and not be seen from her home to get on the bus, and she's a younger child. And that's been brought to our attention some. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? If not, we'll close this portion. I'll open it back up to the board. Any discussion? Now, this is just approval to send it to the town council for just rezoning only.
Yep.
I'll make the motion that we approve the rezoning of case 2307 PLBD 00055, 8200 Stokesdale Street and 8320 Loyola Street from limited office and RS 30 to CZ-GB, conditional general business use. And this is in regard to that it does fit the overall planning for the town. And it will prove to continue to improve the general commercial district of our town.
Okay, we have a motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
We have a second. We will take a vote. Mr. Green?
Aye.
Mr. T?
Aye.
Mr. Curtis?
Aye.
And I'll also vote aye. And that takes us to the announcements. The planning board's actions is not the final. The rezoning case listed above. The planning board will either recommend or approve or deny request to the Stokesdale Town Council. No appeal or any recommendations made by the planning board is the next town meeting, the town council meeting, will be held on Thursday, August the 10th, 2023 at 7 p.m. inside the town hall chambers. The next Stokesdale Planning Board meeting will be held on Thursday, August 24th at 7 o'clock. And I just found a notice that the August 24th meeting has already been canceled.
That's correct.
So that takes us down to an adjournment. Do I hear a motion?
I'll move to adjourn.
Second?
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you, Rod.
I'm not telling, because he's the one that applies for everything.